Well, I feel like this video just reminds you of like when you have no budget and your imagination has to thrive.
Kind of a running gun, like an expensive running gun.
Because it really just captures like the chaos of life.
Hey, that's dope. Let's figure this out.
Work with people that you believe in.
We just took it and ran and just created something special from it.
What's up? I'm Edgar Estevez. I'm one of the 3 directors on Asake's Travis Scott active video, and I also own Blank Square Productions.
I'm Marquise, executive producer.
My name is Josh Ravaya. I was one of the directors on Active.
The thing about this video is we didn't even really know we were gonna do this video until we got to Toronto. We actually went to shoot his concert, as you see it playing in the background.
Showtime. Yes, sir.
Edgar baby, Asake baby, Canada.
And we start shooting, he's playing a whole different song. So he sends us a song, and then when we land, and I'm like, yo, this is not the song that you sent me. He's like, oh no, we're gonna shoot a whole different record. So what's happening with the second verse, because it was so empty, it was just instrumental. And he's like, oh, Travis Scott is recording his verse in real time, like right now. And I'm like, oh snap, so now we're directing a Asake Travis Scott video, and we kind of found out while we were on set. And when we get back to LA, we could shoot Travis, because he requested to shoot 2 days later.
Like Marquis said, we literally were running around Toronto, shooting here, shooting there, jumping out the car. That shit was fun.
It was super raw.
You're doing 20,000 in Canada. You can't just do stuff like that anymore. And how sometimes you just want to walk around the streets and just be normal.
And basically he was saying that active is like, life is too short. Do what you love, do what you want to do. When it came to this video, I said, why don't you just live life?
Active. Stick to each other. Come on, let's go. Active.
We have 3 directors on this project. We have Edgar, we have Josh, we have Nikita, and each one of them brings something different to the table. It's about collaboration and no ego. No one's saying, oh, I need this much credit, or I need this. It's like, yo guys, let's come together and make the dopest thing that we can make.
I remember I see these photos of like Martin Scorsese and Steven Spielberg and Francis Coppola and all these directors and James Cameron, and they used to all be friends. And I always thought like, if I could find a group of directors and producers that would lift me up the way I lift them up, like there's no stopping us. We actually went to go get Travis from a concert because he was doing a private Mercedes-Benz show, I believe. I literally hopped in the car, a brand new Mercedes AMG that they sponsored to bring Asake to go see Travis Scott. We went to go see him and we basically said, we're already at set. Josh and Nikita were prepping actually this scene right here where they break the car and then brought him back to set. All he had to do was just jump on top of the car.
No, they told us he had a limited time. They're like, yo, Travis gotta go. He's gotta fly back to Houston. So we got maybe 3 hours with him. So we just started to shoot. So we started with him on top of the car and he came in and liked the setup so much that I think he just ended up staying a bit longer. So I think originally we were gonna have him for 2, but he ended up just staying and giving us all our shots.
Yeah, we had 1 camera on steady, 1 camera on a crane. Just being ready was like a very big part of it because he ended up liking it so much that he wanted to stay longer. We're able to get that shot where we started spinning with the camera being tied to a rope. The story of the marching band lady, who was also the horse lady, it's kind of crazy. I'm in my office thinking we wrapped the video and this is gonna be the edit right now. And Asake calls me and he says, Edgar, I have a question. I said, what's good? And he's like, oh, are you available tomorrow? Yeah, I just see in my head, I see a marching band and I see horses. Can we shoot this tomorrow in the morning? And I remember being on the phone and on speakerphone and Marquise is looking at me and he's sitting in my office and I'm like, we basically ended up not saying no to him and we said, we'll figure it out. Which is, I think, something that more directors should do with artists is say, don't say no, just say, we'll figure it out.
As a producer, you gotta have connection for everything. So I was like, all right, yeah, we can just make a couple calls. You know, me and Alexa got together and started working on solutions. She was like, hey, I know someone who has horses. So it happens the person who has the horses runs like a band and does, you know, like band stuff on the weekends. It just ended up kind of fitting together perfectly.
This was actually shot on the last day of Toronto. And on the last day, the camera broke. So we didn't have an Alexa Mini on the last day. And I actually had this point and shoot camera in Toronto that I was just shooting photos with. And I saw Edgar shooting iPhones. I was like, wait, I think this shoots video. So this is actually shot on this camera. This is like a 720p, like really shit quality, but it ended up looking really cool. We have a handy cam, we have this camera, we have our iPhones, but still like make the most of what we can do. Even though this is an old camera, I still had the manual settings on, making sure nothing was blown out and I could control everything.
And I just thought the iPhone kind of made it feel like he was outside and he wasn't overproduced. You have this huge celebrity who sells out 20,000 fans in Toronto, Canada, just walking around the city, just makes him feel more normal and adds a lot of personality to him. Yeah.
We were just wilding out in Toronto. And Edgar looks over at this and he's like, wait a minute. I just see him, I see his mind working. He puts the camera right there and he's shooting in between a circle through this. Edgar sits down on the other side of the seesaw.
Speaking to the budget list, it was, multiple day shoots, and so we didn't break this. Normally it'll be in one bid, and so we'd have all days across one bid, but because we just kept adding and shooting more, it was like one bid and then another bid and then
all
another
the card
bid.
stuff.
I think the first day, the Toronto leg, we just loaded up Ari, these two, hopped on a plane and went with him and just like shot, so I think it was minimal, maybe 10K just for, travel expenses mostly. Main day with Travis, say that probably was like around 70,000. And then we had the pickup day with the horses, 15, 16K, something like that for that pickup. So all in total, maybe around 100. Relationship with Asake and his team. And we know they got a whole album coming out. So we're trying to stay conscious of other projects that are shooting. We ended up shooting Wave, which was another one with Asake and Citrus C a couple weeks after this. So, just the challenge of balancing how much you're spending on one project when you have a bunch of, them in the future coming up.
Like, especially if you're upcoming creative, sometimes you gotta take risks. So we had a Shadow on set of this one, and he flew from North Carolina all the way to LA just to join us on set. And he was willing to help out, he was willing to PA, he was willing to pick up trash. And we actually had another Shadow as well, Scott Larson, and he ended up working with the camera department, and he ended up getting a job that day because we didn't really have too much budget for a second AC, and then he ended up being that guy.
Well, we actually ended up adding a second camera on the day.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We needed another AC team, and so he ended up actually
getting a job and getting paid
on that.
It was really cool inspiration, I think, for him and motivation for his upcoming career, and I hope he does really well, and I hope he takes that energy and runs with it. And it's so imperative to have people like I said, I just have to stress this enough, like, you two are just like the solid foundation of all this, and it's led to so many different opportunities, and that's why going forward, you guys are gonna stick with us on this opportunity because it's just a beautiful harmony, and I have trust with you guys, and I just look forward to the 9 other videos that we'll do with Asake because it's really that special.
This episode took a lot of time to make. Thank you guys so much for watching the first episode of our music video breakdown series. This is just a pilot episode, and we've been looking forward to releasing this for a while now. A couple of months ago, this was just a concept, and seeing it come together from where it was to where it is now is such a beautiful thing, and I'm just super, super hyped to show everyone what more we're doing here at Shadow.